my Gems family. How are you doing? Happy Hump Day Wednesday. I hope everybody's doing great here at a different time, just trying something out, trying out something different. Uh, I hope I'm in the right live stream because I was messing around on my phone and I went live, so bear with me a little bit. As I go into talking about my topic. Um, let's see. Yeah, I'm in the right one. Okay. Hey, Joshua, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Happy Wednesday. So today I want to thank you for my first like. I hope you're doing good. Hey, Shannon, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. I hope you're good. So I just wanted to talk about this subject because, it's crazy. So my topic today is, why are people so mean? Why? Why are individuals so mean in your relatives, on social media, on the job? Why is it that people are so mean? And I want to talk about this because I know it's many different reasons, but I think the number one reason is because people are mean to people because they hate themselves. And people who are upset or angry with their present circumstances or their life, they take it out on other people because they don't put in the work into themselves to make themselves happy. They don't put in any work to learn themselves and what is making them so upset, what is making them so angry. But I wanted to ask my Gems family too, why do you think that people are so mean? It's many different situations, and I can only speak from the things that I have been through and things like that. Hi, Junkie. So let's get into talking about this topic, okay? The number one thing that I think is, like I said, people who are angry with their life, okay? They're angry with their life. They're angry with their present circumstances, and they just take out their anger with other people. And I know that's not right, but hurt people hurt people. So no matter what we talk about, and we say people need to be nice and people need to work on themselves, but some people, no matter what you say, you can be good to people, you can be nice to them, you can be kind to them, and still they will not appreciate you. They will talk to you crazy, and they're going to be mean because ultimately these people hate themselves. And if they hate themselves, if they do not work on their own issues, they're going to project that fear, they're going to project that insecurity onto other people. Hi, Lipstick and Sofrito. How are you doing? They will project all of that insecurity, all of that fear onto somebody else. And it's not right and it's not fair. And I know that just about everybody has been a victim of someone just doing these mean things to them for absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. And I do want to go off track for a little bit and talk about how, bullying exists. And when I was younger, I used to think that bullying was just in school. And I thought, okay, now that I'll be out of school, now the bullying will stop. Mm-mm. It doesn't. Bullying is a lifetime thing. Hi, Ghost. How are you doing? I think bullying is a lifetime thing because I think sometimes it starts off with bullying begins first in the home with your relatives or the people that you are living with. You can be bullied in a home, and then you can start being bullied in school. Then when you get work age, you get bullied on the job, you get bullied with friends or other people. So it's a lot of things that it's a lot of things that people will do and say that will be very offensive. Oh, Junkie says you've been bullied every day. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that, because anybody who has ever been a victim of bullies, and you're not even, most of the time, the victims of bullying don't even do anything. People will just look at you, the way you look, the way you talk, or whatever, or if you have more intellectual abilities, people will be intimidated by that. Or if people are drawn to you or like you, there's a lot of reasons why people could be mean to you because of one reason or the other, because maybe it's something in them that is lacking, and instead of them going and working on themselves, being at peace and being happy, they'd rather make you feel upset. And, that's really their problem, but it still does not feel good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel nice when people are mean to us, especially if we have not done anything. Now, I do understand sometimes people can be mean to us when we don't do the right things, when we're rude to them or things like that. But if you haven't even bothered anybody, it's no reason for that. Lipstick and Sofrito says, I'm recovering nicely, had surgery. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're resting? Okay. I hope you feel better. Junkie says, people have been calling me stupid. They said I was ugly. Your music is trash. Yeah, siblings cussing you out. I didn't even do anything wrong. I even got something stolen from me. It doesn't it happen? I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. And anybody who has ever been a victim of bullying, anybody who has ever been bullied, and I don't know why, but when I was younger, I thought I was bullied relentlessly growing up. I mean, relentlessly from the time I started elementary school up to high school, and even some in college. Not a lot in college, but still some bullying in college. I thought it was just going to be till I finished high school and then it was going to end, but I had no idea that bullying is forever. There's different forms of bullying. There's bullying from your relatives, there's bullying from friends, a job. There's all type of bullies, but there is things that we can do about it. And you have to speak up for yourself, and you can't let them see you fall apart. Sometimes that's the reason why people continue to bother you, is because you do not speak up for yourself. You have to speak up for yourself. And if it escalates to a level where it's affecting your mental health and things like that, you may have to escalate it. If it's on a job, you may have to go up to higher management. And I think that it's back. I don't know. Oh, I hope it's back now. I hope so. I don't know what happened, but my Wi-Fi went out or something. Um, Junkie says, and not only that, I lost fans that even turned their back on me. Yeah. Yeah, but we have to ignore the negativity, and then we have to shift and change our own way of looking at it. We can't do anything to make people like us. All we have to do is just be ourselves. I think that's important. Just be yourself. That's all we can do, you know? Just be yourself. And then that's it. That's all we can do is just be ourselves and then move along. Okay? Just move along and ignore people, live your own life. I always say the people that don't want to be around you, the people who are talking bad against you and all those things, I think that it's important to have our own life. Don't let people disrupt your joy. Don't let people disrupt your peace. You just keep on and continue being yourself, and having your own life. And the people that are in your life that are trying to bring you disruption, you have to show people that your life isn't going to stop because they don't like you or they don't accept you or they're not happy for you or they don't support you. You have to still move along and have your own life. Yes, people laugh at you. Yeah, it happens a lot. Hey, keeping up with the Griffins. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Appreciate you guys being here. If you could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Yep, it happens. People are just ridiculous. I think like in this world that we live in, people do so many things to us that is hurtful, that's disrespectful, that's unkind. And especially when it comes to social media, there's so many people who will do things to us, and we have to be careful to not take it personally, especially on social media. I had to really learn that social media was a completely different animal. It's not going to be like people who say something to you in person. There are people called internet bullies, okay, and trolls, and they will just sit behind their computer with their miserable self, with trying to get their kicks off or whatever, you know people have called me all kinds of things on social media, said how ugly I was, how stupid I was, that doesn't make any sense. The food that I make, it looks disgusting. It's so much stuff. People will act like they know you on social media, and they don't know you. They don't know your life. They don't know the things that you're dealing with and going through. Hi, Ira. How are you doing? There's some things that people just will be rude, they're going to be nasty, and that has nothing to do with us. That's a reflection of another person's inside. And remember, you can't do anything to control what other people do and what other people say. You can't make people mature. You can't make people healed. You can't make people confront the past, that pain that causes them to be so mean. And I can't speak for everybody, but I know, coming from that space of being so upset and being so angry, and it was a lot of unresolved issues that I had why I was such an angry person. I mean, it was really terrible, growing up, my life, it's tough when you grow up in a situation to your own relatives are mean to you. I knew when I was growing up, I never had a space to where I felt safe in any space. I didn't feel, not that I didn't feel safe at home, but I didn't feel like loved when I was at home. And it's like when you go to school and people are mean and bullying you, and you go home and people aren't like listening to you and supportive. So it's like you're out there, you're at school, you come home and they're mean to you. At home they're mean to you, you go out, they're mean to you. You have to have a safe space. So I had to learn as an adult that I had to create my own safe space, that if other people are treating me this way, that has nothing to do with me. I used to have a lot of issues with thinking something was wrong with me, but actually it's a projection from other people. People will talk about you and make fun of you, and they'll laugh at you at your expense. They'll treat you like garbage just because they think that you will allow it. And a lot of times we do. We don't speak up for ourselves. We don't say, I don't like that, don't talk to me that way. And it will continue unless you confront it. And when I started to speak up for myself with relatives, people on the job, people when I was in school, show people a backbone. Like, don't talk to me that way. And if you do that, if you talk to me like that again, I'm going to go above your head, because every manager has a manager. Don't feel like you have no voice or that you have to take it. Because I've had to do that too on a job. People who were in management or supervisors that felt like you have to take it because they're your supervisor or your manager. You don't have to let people run over you and treat you disrespectfully. You don't. You don't have to. Yeah, and that's so sad what people do on social media. Keeping Up with the Griffin says, you are one of the kindest and sweetest. Such a shame that someone would be so mean to you. Yeah, and it's been my whole life keeping up with the Griffins. But now it's different because now I know about self esteem. Now I know about self worth. Now I know that there's things that I can do, that I don't have to let other people do things to me and then feel like, before I used to question myself, like, what's wrong with me? Why don't people like me? Why won't they be a friend? And I had to learn that people, not everybody is gonna like me, and that's okay, because I like me and I'm my own friend. And I had to learn to just be my own self. And I say that to everybody: be your own self, be your own individual. And when you stand out and you're not a follower and you're a leader, people don't like leadership qualities. People don't like when you're intelligent, when you walk to the beat of your own drum, that you don't have to ask for other people's permission. You're just your own self. So don't let other people intimidate you. You know, that's something that's important. Uh, Chamoli, congratulations. Keeping Up with the Griffins. So sorry you've had to deal with that, but the good thing is you've learned from it and have adjusted to where it doesn't affect your mindset as much. Yeah, and that takes a lot of time. I still have my moments sometimes, because anybody who has ever had to deal with what you call it, anybody who has to deal with bullying, negativity, drama, like on a repeated basis, I know people will say, oh, that was a long time ago. But if the first maybe 15, 16 years of your life, people told you you were stupid and you couldn't do anything right, and you're dumb, you don't do anything right, you're foolish, when you keep hearing that over and over again for years, it's not something that you just say, oh, get over it. It's not that easy. You have to be the one to shift your mindset. And also, I couldn't shift my mindset until I was in a different space. A lot of times when we're living with people, if you have relatives or other people that are hurtful and mean and rude to you, it's hard for you to elevate your mindset and your focus when you're still in the same environment. So, while I always tried my best to be positive and to be nice and to be kind, I had to work on myself. I had to do the best that I could. But for me, I couldn't feel my best until I removed myself from that environment and I stopped going around those people and I stopped allowing those people to get my power. And I see that even on a job, management or people who pretend to be managers. You guys know people like that too. They're not even in management and they'll try to tell you what to do. It's called micromanagement. They want to control every single thing that you do and say. Like they're, it's crazy. And I was like, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I know what to do. Move along. And when you start speaking up for yourself, like, I don't need you to be right here. I don't need for you to be watching me. I do my work. So move along. Leave me alone. You have to speak up for yourself, or people will run over you and disrespect you. You know, do not let people run all over you. You've been in and out of the hospital. I'm so sorry to hear about that. You've had seizures. Yeah. And people have so many issues already. I know just from day-to-day living, being an adult, so much things is happening in real life. Like some people are really dealing with financial situations. Some people are dealing with, some mental health issues. And I had to say that I had to learn that too. Some people are mean because some people just are not balanced right here. There's a lot of people who have, some people have diagnosed mental illness, but there's a lot of people who have undiagnosed mental illness. And I think that is a big amount of people who are mean. Is they're mean because they need to be on medicine. Some people need to see a therapist. Some people are just immature and they need to grow up. So it's a lot of different factors. It's a lot of different reasons why people can be mean. And some people really and honestly just need a hug. You know, some people just, they're lonely, they're miserable, they're vulnerable. They've allowed their past to get to them, and they're taking it out on other people. Just because somebody in your life did whatever to you, you don't have to harm other people that have nothing to do with you. But that's something that you have to learn. I had to learn that too, because I had my moments where I was a very angry person as well, and my anger came from unresolved issues. So I had to work on me. I had to learn to heal my mindset, heal what I believe about myself. And ultimately, you have to make your own narrative for your life. Like, I'm important, I'm valid, I'm special, I'm loved, I'm worthy, I'm blessed, I'm capable. You have to say those things to yourself, and you cannot let other people have control over that. Even if people say things to you and it's not true, sometimes it is hurtful, it's mean, it's rude, it's disrespectful. But at the same time, you have to know who you are. And I always do that. I combat when somebody says or does something negative to me. While it hurts, sometimes it can get you like really upset. But you have to remind yourself of who you are. You have to remind yourself of your own personal value and not take it personally. And I have to say that that's something so difficult to do, to not take it personally when somebody does something offensive to us. Of course, you're going to feel some type of way. Of course, it's going to make you feel sad, but that's what some people want. Some people want for you, because they're angry, they want to start a fight with you. They want to say things like, oh, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're foolish, you can't do anything right, because they want you to believe that. They want to step on you. And unfortunately, some people only, how do I say it? Some people only can feel good about themselves when they step on you to elevate themselves. So unless they bring you down, unless they say something, wagging their finger, telling you off, cussing you out, doing something that is just, it makes no sense to do that to somebody who is doing nothing to you, but people do it every day. And we can't do anything about those people. We have to be in control of what we say and what we do. You cannot force people to like you. And I think when I was younger, that was a big problem for me, because I think I've always been a nice person. I've always been kind to other people. But when people aren't kind back to you, when people are just rude to you for like absolutely no reason. And it's like, what in the world? Why are you so rude to me? And I don't know about you all, but have you ever found how some people are so mean to you and yet you're so nice to them? And it's like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, it could be relative, it could be a spouse, it could be um, a friend, quote unquote. But sometimes people are mean to you because you like yourself. You know, like I had to learn when I started to work on myself. When I went to therapy, I always will share this, that when I started working on myself and I started to improve, like I'm not angry anymore. You know, I'm not walking around sad all the time. I'm not telling people off. I didn't involve myself in gossip anymore. When you start making changes, other people don't like you anymore. And I had to wrap my mind around that. Some people only like you when you were the sad person, when you were the mean person, or when you didn't know your value or your worth and they couldn't use you. But when you got introduced to confidence, when you started having peace in your life, when you started getting up and doing things and smiling, there's a lot of people who don't like that new you. And they want to say, you think you're all that now or you've changed. Absolutely. I recommend that people change. I recommend people make changes in their life. I think every, few months you should do a self-evaluation. How am I doing in my life? Am I at peace? Do I have joy? Am I doing the things that I deserve to do because I have the intellectual capacity, because I'm capable and able, because I'm worth it? You know? Hi Salon, hi TDS. How are you guys doing? Welcome. When you start talking to yourself that way, because I deserve to be happy, because I'm worth it, and I had to learn to move along. You know, you have to leave certain people behind that aren't nice. You have to leave people behind that aren't nice. You have to leave people up behind that are rude. Leave them alone, you know? You can't make some relatives happy no matter what you do, you know? No matter what you do, no matter how you show up for people, no matter how much you support other people, some people will never be happy. No matter what you do for them, you could give people like everything. You could empty yourself completely. You could be supportive, you could be nice, you can be kind to them, you can do so much stuff for them, and still they still will complain and want more. So those are the individuals you have to be careful about keeping them in your life. Well, I hope it gets better for you, Junkie. You have to be careful about that, because I have to say that sometimes the reason why people are so mean is because they have some internal struggles, like they suffer from low self-esteem. And coming from that space, and I know what that's like. I know what it's like when you don't think anything good about yourself. And I would never let that happen to me again. I would never let other people in my life make me feel that I'm less than. You know, I want to say to everybody, you have a choice every day. If people are being mean to you, rude to you, treating you disrespectfully, all of those things, you don't have to keep taking it. You don't. Okay? You don't have to keep taking it. Move along. Leave them alone. Okay? So I feel like that's something that is so very important, is not letting other people's low self-esteem or what they're not doing in their life. Have you ever had people in your life and they'll be mad at you because you're doing things, like you're not being lazy or you're taking care of yourself? It's so it's so overwhelming sometimes when you have certain individuals in your life, because they'll make you feel like you shouldn't do anything, like you shouldn't have fun. I've known some people and I had to release them. I had to cut them off because they would be like, "Oh, you're going out? Oh, you're going on a trip?" You have to stop telling certain individuals about your goals and your dreams, because they're not going to be happy for you. Hey, real odds and evens, how are you doing? You've been in that situation? Yeah. Yes, mad because you're happy and moving forward, and that's not what they want. Some people, unfortunately, do not want you to be happy. Okay? Hi, hi, Shawnee. So that's the thing. I had to learn that if other people suffer from low self-esteem and they don't like themselves, like, that's not my problem. I used to have people in my life, quote unquote friends, and it was like you always felt like you have to, like, diminish everything. Like, if you talk about something good in your life, like, oh, I got a job, or I got a promotion, or you're in school, or you got a new car, or like some good things that's happening in your life, like, or just you being happy, you smiling, and like having people like, why are you always smiling all the time? Like, that's annoying. If you can't be yourself around certain individuals, you need to leave them alone. I hate to say it, but sometimes we outgrow people. And I know that I outgrew some people in my life. And it's not that I'm better or things like that. But when you start working on yourself and becoming a better person, when I was no longer angry, I couldn't hang out with the angry people anymore, because all they ever wanted to talk about was, this person did this to me, and this person doesn't like me, and this person is jealous, and always gossiping about other people. Believe me, it starts to affect you even when you say it doesn't. I had to leave those people behind that are always complaining about their life and how everybody hates them. That's the only thing that they talk about. They don't talk about anything that is positive. And I couldn't handle it, because it starts to affect your mental health when you're around people who are mad at the world, and they're mean to other people by deflection, by default. You get the smoke, you get the fire, you get the heat, you get all of the after effects because of what they are choosing to be, and I didn't understand until I got to be older that I was the one that had to make the choice to be happy. You have to make the choice to be happy. You have to make a choice of who you are friends with. You have to make a choice to who you talk to and tell your business. I had to learn to stop telling people who never supported me, why are you telling them this? They're already, saying mean and nasty things to you. So they don't like you to begin with. So I had to learn that even though you may not have nothing against anybody, do they have something against you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. You don't necessarily have to do anything, to anybody. People will just get mad at you for no reason at all. I've had people, especially other women. Oh, you always have lipstick on, or you always wear bright colors. And why do you always talk like that? Like, because I don't, because I enunciate, because I don't use what, slang and ebonics and things. People don't like you. They say, "Oh, you think you're better," and no, that's a projection, you know. And you're intimidated. You're intimidated because I speak properly. Hey, DJ Tanya, how are you doing? Good morning. Yes. Hi, TDS. Um, people People will just be something else. People are really a trip. That's one thing that I'll say is so much people that are a trip, and some people would just be so mean for absolutely no reason at all. You don't have to do anything to anybody to make people hate you. Yes, I'm doing awesome too, DJ Tanya. I'm glad you're doing great. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you guys go by and check out anybody who is in blue. If they're a content creator, go and give their channel a view. If you like the content, click that subscribe button. Okay? So the next thing, why another reason why people can be mean is because they're angry. That's a big issue. People who are mean are usually angry. And I didn't know for myself when I was in that space of being mean to other people. You know, when you're in that zone of you're just trying to cope with your life, you don't even know that you're being mean to other people because you are what, you're dealing with and going through. And because I had so much weight here in my mind, a lot of unresolved issues, a lot of sad things, traumatic events that I was holding on to. And instead of talking about it and freeing myself, releasing it, I had, I used it in, you know, being upset, being angry at other people, hating other people. But ultimately, it was about me hating myself. And I want to say that to anybody, if you are in that space of you feel this small because of people around you, because of what people have done and said to you, don't stay in that space. I had to learn to shift my mindset and shift the way that I talk to myself. When I stopped listening to other people, because people will always tell you they don't like you and you're stupid and you don't do anything right, you can't stay in that zone. If people don't like you, that's their problem and it's not yours. Stop taking that personally. And it can be difficult if that's all you know. And that's what it was for me. If all you hear is you're stupid, you don't do anything right, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, it is hard to get out of that zone and believe something different about yourself. And I had to, for myself, give myself a new narrative in my mind. And I still have it. Many, many moons ago when I was in therapy, I wrote that down. Oh, your name is Haya? Um, when I was in therapy and I wrote myself a new narrative because you have to give yourself something new to think about, and I had to start saying things like, I'm worth it. I can do anything. I believe in myself. I'm confident. I'm loved. I'm blessed. I'm capable. I can do anything. I can do all things. So, um, hi, Eric. How are you doing? So that's one of the things, we definitely have to do some work on ourselves. You have to do some work on yourself. You cannot make other people happy. You have to make yourself happy. You have to make choices that prove that you love yourself. You cannot wait for people to love you. And that's a knowledge that I didn't have before, you know? That's a knowledge I definitely did not have before. I didn't know how to just be myself, you know? I didn't know how. And sometimes when you go through situations like that in your life and people will say negative, hurtful, disrespectful things, it's hard for you to have healthy self esteem. It's hard for you to be confident because you're around people that aren't confident, that don't like themselves, that actually hate themselves, that are angry, have unresolved issues, or manipulative. And some people have mental health issues. Okay? They have some issues here, and we can't do anything about those people. You can't fix other people. You can't make other people happy. So I had to learn, and you too as well, have to learn to love yourself for who you are, for the way you look, the way you talk, for what you're going through, your situation. You're your own individual. You're your own individual. Don't let anybody make you feel that because they went through something similar to you, things are different. People, you have different personalities. People have different issues, and how one person navigates life, it doesn't mean that it has to be the way you do. And you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to mature, and you're never too old to heal. You know, I hi, Mr. Lonely. You're never too old to heal. You aren't. Never too old to heal. And I used to think like, oh, I got too much problems. I got too much issues. I could never, get over this. But, everything in life is what you say to yourself. If you tell yourself, I'm never going to get through this. If you tell yourself, my life is too hard. If you tell yourself, nobody loves me. If you tell yourself, everybody hates me. Or if you tell yourself, everybody is jealous of me, or then that's what you're going to believe. You are what you believe. You are what you think about yourself. You are what you say. And that's why I always talk about all the time, your positive self talk matters. Even when you are surrounded by negativity, even when people around you are drama filled or whatever, complainers, jealous, whatever the case may be, the only person that we can have control over is ourselves. You can only have control over your own mind. Okay. And even if a person will say they don't like you, they hate you, whatever, but that's when you turn it around and say, sounds like a personal problem because I love myself. So move along. And I tell people, you don't have to be here. You don't have to go around me. Like, people will look at you. Have somebody ever looked at you and be like, "Oh, that outfit is so ugly," or your hair doesn't look good that way. Too bad. At least I like it. You know, some people want to make you feel bad about yourself in order to make them feel good about themselves. Hey, wellness, how are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Yes, indeed. Yes, facts, DJ Tanya. So that's some of the things that I don't know about you all, but it took me a really long time to step into that space as an adult, as a woman, when you have had lots of issues with self-esteem, childhood traumas, um, negativity in general, or maybe coming from a space of you've never been accepted by other people. It does things to you if you allow it. Yes. Yes, Zach. You're good enough. You're smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. What I had to learn is that the wrong people don't like me, but the right people do. That really did something to my mind when I started shifting my mindset, when I started shifting my focus, the narrative, and it's called self-talk. And that is important. What you say to yourself is ultimately who you are. And if you tell yourself, I can't do it. If you tell yourself, I'm not liked, or I'm not loved, and people hate me, or I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, you're the one saying that to yourself. That's what you're going to believe. You are going to be what you think. And if you do not think good about yourself, if you don't think in positives, if you don't look at life as the glass half full, if you are always saying it's empty, or something is not enough, or you don't have friends, you don't have people that love you, of course that's going to make you feel discouraged. And I know, coming from that zone and that space of being bullied and not being accepted. And I've always been a different person, you know. And when I was younger, that used to really affect me because I've always walked to the beat of my own drum. I've always dressed different. I've always I've always just been myself because I was a person that I would rather have been in books and, you know, um, dressing and like from I remember being like 14 years old and taking my shirts and cutting them up, and that's back when tie dyeing was everything. I probably messed up my mom's washing machine more than one time with tie dye. I've always been cutting up stuff and being different, and looking all the way back from being maybe 12, 13 years old. I've always been into public speaking. I've always liked talking and journalism. But that's been always been me. And I used to put that down because people would say, "Oh, who wants to hear your voice? Who wants to hear what you have to say?" And when you listen to that and digest it and start believing that, I think that's when your life goes in a downward spiral. You can't listen to the mean things that people say about you and believe it. You can hear it, but don't listen to it. There's a difference. You hear it, but don't listen, you know? Listening is an art form. You have to be careful what you listen. You have to be careful what you believe. You have to be careful who you let into your inner circle, okay? Just because a person is a relative, it doesn't mean they care about you or love you. Just because a person could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, husband, or wife, it doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. Take it from me, as someone who has been there, done that, got a t-shirt. Just because people are quote unquote close to you and love you, it doesn't mean that they do. Some people have some issues here and they need to work on themselves before they can hold a space in your life. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that I'm valuable and I don't have to take the garbage. I don't have to take the mistreatment. And I'm telling you, when you start speaking up for yourself and telling people how you feel, they're going to leave you alone. Okay? People will definitely leave you alone when they can't use you. Okay? And this is a big issue when we talk about why people are mean, is insecurities, right? Do you know some people that are insecure? I know I have over the years, thinking about it, reflecting on my childhood and my teens and my early adulthood. There are so many people that were insecure, and people, what happens when people are insecure in themselves, they look at another person and they project their insecurities onto you. You know, if they don't feel good about themselves, then they want to make you not feel good about yourself. If they're unhappy, they want to make you feel unhappy. If they are lacking in something when you aren't lacking in it, that's the reason why they may hate you. And I used to take it another way. I used to think people didn't hated me because I did something to them or because of one reason or another. And you have to be careful about taking that in and feeling I did something, I offended them. Yes, sometimes as adults we do things that is offensive and hurtful, you know, because this little vessel we have in our mouth, our tongue, can bring a lot of problems. It can cause a lot of pain, a lot of anger. So, you know, you have to be really careful about what you do with your tongue, what words that you say to everybody in your life, you know, especially if you have children. You know, you are your child's first source of love before they develop their own self-esteem. And, you know, I didn't understand that growing up, and I'm grateful that I learned, not in the good way, in the bad way, I learned that they were unhappy in themselves and it had nothing to do with me. I was sad most of my life. I would say at least 20 years of my life, I was very unhappy and miserable because of other people's projecting their insecurities, their fears. And it's sad that some people are fearful that you will be successful, that you'll be happy, that you'll be living your life out loud because some people do not have enough courage to do what you do. And that is a bold statement, but it's very true. So many people are not going to be happy for you because you have the courage to be yourself. There's so many people as adults on social media, on the job, with relatives, quote unquote friends, and let's just stop calling everybody our friends. A friend is somebody who is there in action and not just saying they're your friend. Yes, you can be a friend to people, but they're no friend to you. So it's something that you have to really think about. We'll talk about that on another time, but I had to, really go inside of that. And if you don't really think about what other people say to you and let that, roll off your back. When I was growing up, one of the things that my dad used to always say, the things that people say to you, you have to be like a duck. And if you guys have ever seen a baby duck, the little chicks, and when they're wet, you could see the water beads just roll right off their back. And my dad used to always say, that's how you have to be in life. You cannot let other people, what they say, to get to you and make it stay on you, stay in your head, start to affect your health because they said something mean, they didn't show up for you, they were rude, etc., etc., etc. Don't let other people's projections, their fears, their insecurities, their meanness get to you and make you feel less than. And I have to be honest, I did. I let that make me be in a major depression for so many years of my life. And I don't know how many people would admit this, but I know I can say for myself, because I know how to be transparent. My depression had maybe the majority to do with other people, but there was enough in myself that when I started shifting my narrative, won't say my depression went away, but I was able to cope with life, whereas before I didn't have the tools to. When I stopped listening to negative people, when I stopped allowing angry people to control my life, my life changed. You can't let people who are angry and mean and disrespectful and jealous and not show up for you or hate you make you feel that way about yourself. And it transfers to us. If you are around people long enough and they're upset, they're angry, they're always complaining, you will start feeling that way and being that way. That's why you have to be careful with who you associate with, who you listen to, and how you talk to yourself. I'll never stop saying that. You have to be careful what you say to yourself. Hi, Natasha. How are you doing? Wellness says, hey, doing well, just working. Thanks for asking. Yes, I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you guys so much for your support and everything. If you guys have not already, hit the like. Anybody who is new, be sure to subscribe. I always say that all the time. Do not let others people's insecurities stop you from being happy, you know? And it's something easy, you know? It's something easy. You start thinking like, oh, I won't go out, or I won't wear this outfit, or I won't do this X, Y, and Z, when Like, no, don't stop being yourself. Don't stop going out. Don't stop living your life. Don't stop being yourself because other people may not like you. And that's me going through years of therapy. It took me that long to be in the space as an adult to say that. Do not let other people stop you from being yourself. Do not let people stop your peace. Do not let people disrupt your life. If there is a goal that you have in your life, do not let anybody tell you that you can't do it, because that was me for such a long time. I was listening to these negative people who were telling me that I couldn't do things. You can't do that. People will like be fully convinced and project that insecurity and that fear. It won't work. That's stupid. Nothing is going to work out. Why would you want to do that? That's stupid. That doesn't make sense. Listen, just because something doesn't make sense to them, it doesn't mean it has to not make sense to you. As long as it's something that you want to do, remember it's your life and you're an adult and you have to make decisions for yourself. And when I learned how much power I had, and you do too, you have power. You have the power of making good choices. You have the power to not listen to the negativity. You have the power to leave people alone. You have the power to live your life. You have the power to have peace, but you're the one that has to make a choice every day. I had to learn to move around. I had to learn to block certain individuals. I had to learn to stop telling certain individuals my business because they weren't happy for me. No matter how happy you can be, and you're putting in all the work, you're doing everything to take care of yourself and love yourself, but other people are not doing those same things, and that's why they're so upset, angry, jealous, and mean. And that's what it is in a nutshell. When somebody has made a choice to not do anything with their life, some people, all they do is they go to work and they come home. And if that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do. But as for me, you have to have a balance. I understand you got to work and you're tired, but you also got to take care of your health. You got to get out there and get some exercise, and you got to put some room in your life for fun. I think when I was younger, or as you're young, you involve yourself in being fun. It's all about play. And then as you get as an adult, you stop that childhood wonderment, that childlike mystery, that childlike fun. And you should never stop being silly and laughing and having fun and running around and being silly and having people that you can run around and being silly with, and people that you can feel loved with. Um, and that is one of the issues, I think, with social media. There's a lot of people on social media that are miserable. Okay? Listen to what I'm saying. There's a lot of people on social media that are miserable. They are lonely. They are mean. They are angry. They have unresolved issues. There's a lot of people on social media that have mental illness and they need to work on themselves. Some people need some medication. Okay? Hi, Azum. How are you doing? Welcome. There's a lot of people that need some medicine because they are not mentally stable. Okay? There's a lot of unstable people on social media, and I had to learn from being a content creator that you cannot let what other people say stop you from being yourself. Don't stop dressing how you dress, taking care of yourself, having your own personality, doing the things that you want to do with your life. Don't let other people, because of what they think or the comments that they put, people will be in keyboard wars with you, telling you how they don't like how you look, how you dress, how you talk, how your makeup is, how your hair is, what you do with your life, what you do with your money. People will want to plan out and dissect you, take you apart. Relatives do it. Thank you, Azum. There's a lot of people, they will take you apart, you know, talk about, because it's social media. Some people have nothing else to do but to be on social media, putting negative comments, hateful comments, disrespectful comments, angry comments, because they are angry and they are mean. Don't let it get to you. To all you content creators, don't let it get to you. You just block them and leave them alone. That's all, really all you can do when it comes to social media. But don't let it stop you. Don't let the people who, have things to say. And I have to say this, being on social media, I know that I have some content creators in the building. Have you guys ever been on a live stream and you're talking about something very important and somebody comes in and they try to change the conversation, and I believe that it is about making you come get sidetracked, get distracted. And there's a lot of people on social media, in real life, in school, on the job, that they want to intimidate you and make you feel bad about yourself. They want to distract you from your purpose. They want to distract you from your peace. They want to make you feel bad about yourself. Okay? Don't let them. Don't let anybody have power over your mind. Don't let anybody have power over your heart. Okay? You have to be in control of that. You got to be in control of what you think about yourself. Okay? And that's one of the things that, you have to do your best and be your best. Okay? Just don't let other people get to you. Okay? Don't let anybody stop you from your success in your life. And that's just what can happen. People will take you away from success. People will stop you from your peace if you let them. Do not let people have your power. Do not let people have control over your mind. Do not do it. You have to be stronger than other people, and it starts here in your mind. You have to understand that people just aren't going to like you, okay? They're not going to like you. And that's okay. To anybody who needs to hear this, it's okay when people don't like you. It's okay. The people who are jealous. You cannot make people like you. You cannot make people support you. You cannot make people be mature. You cannot make people be mentally stable. You cannot make people show up for you. You cannot make people kind. You cannot control other people. We can't. And there's so many people on social media, a relative on the job, and they want to control you. They want to control what you do, what you say, what you think, how you dress, the messages you put out. They want to control your content, how you look. No. Do not let other people tell you what to be, who to be, what to talk about, how to live your life. You have to be the one to know yourself. And until you know yourself and what you want, other people will also make you angry and upset. Hi, how you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're having an awesome day. So let's talk some more about this, okay? Why are some people so mean? Because of the past. And I can talk about this for literally hours. So many people are mean because of their past experiences. Do you know some people and they're talking about an issue or a problem that happened over 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago like it just happened. They never get over it because they do not forgive that person. And I had to learn that part. When you forgive people, it's not because what they did was right to you, but you have to forgive people so that you can have your peace again. You have to forgive them so that you can live your life. Hey, Leonica, how are you doing? Welcome. Hi, Jamaicans. You have to live your life. You cannot let other people make you feel bad about yourself. Don't do it. And people will be in a whole romantic relationship with you, and you have to be careful about who you choose to be in a romantic relationship with. And I'm not trying to go all the way there, but some people have a lot of control issues. Some people just are not stable mentally, and being in a romantic relationship with some people is very dangerous, and they're mean. And I never have understood how somebody can open up their mouth and talk about how they love you and then at the same time want to control you. hmm. It's a lot of people that say they love you and they want to control you because there's been times in their life where they have not experienced control, and the only thing that they have to control probably is you. They don't have control over themselves. They didn't have control in their childhood, so they try to be controlling of you. So be very careful about who you give your heart to, who you live with, who you trust, who you give your money to. Because, yeah, some people you have to move along, and you have to leave certain individuals alone. You got to leave them alone, okay? You got to leave those controlling, manipulative, and there are a lot of people out here who are narcissists. You may just call them mean, but they got some real mental illness. And just because a person has not been diagnosed, because this is my whole childhood, you don't have to be diagnosed with a mental illness to not have one. Okay? There's a lot of people walking around that have mental illness, bipolar, schizophrenic, OCD. They got some issues here, and because they're in denial and they don't want to accept it, just because a person denies that they have mental illness, it does not mean they don't have it. And I see it a lot in urban communities. I see it so much because of the lack of humility. Sometimes it's the lack of resources and lack of support, and also that denial. Oh, no, it's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay. And they know they can't keep a job. They got sometimes like that OCD, or like their mind is telling them crazy things. They constantly think people are against them or trying to attack them and hurt them, and nobody is doing anything to them. That is a projection, and also an imbalance in their mind. And I'm all for support over here. I'm not coming for nobody, talking about anybody. I'm just saying something that is very real. There are a lot of undiagnosed people with mental illness, and anybody who needs some support for mental illness, there are so many things in the community that is free. If you live in the United States, there's so many agencies that help when you have mental illness, and they will give you the support that you need for medicine, to see a doctor, and etc. So anybody who needs it, get the help that you need. And I think that a lot of people that have mental illness, they need that. They need people to be supportive and not turn their back. And I think that's what it is. They first don't want to admit that something is wrong with them, And number two, they don't want to seek the help because they don't want to be labeled as having bipolar, schizophrenic, OCD, whatever. And the list goes on and on. They don't want to be diagnosed or labeled as having an issue, but just because you aren't labeled, it doesn't mean that something is not wrong with them. Somebody has to say it. I'm just the messenger. Leonica says, I am doing great. Awesome. The Jamaicans says, definitely been there with the lives, and someone says ridiculous things to throw me off. Yeah, you have to be so careful about when you're live. Make sure you have your a topic. Make sure you know what you want to talk about. And if somebody is disrespectful in your live stream on your video, block them, delete them, hide them. You don't have to put up with it, okay? You don't have to put up with people's rudeness, their fears, their projections, their insecurities. And I will always say that if you do not like somebody on social media, you know that you have the option to click off, to unsubscribe, to not be around. But people will sit and watch your whole video, be all up in your live stream and talking negative about you. I'm not just easily block them, delete them. If you always talk about why, like, the content isn't good, you don't like certain things that maybe a content creator does, then I always say to myself, then why are you here? If you do not enjoy the content, if you're not consuming the content in a positive way, if it's not helping you, elevating you, growing, you don't enjoy it, then why are you there? It really doesn't make any sense to me. But that's, like I say, there's a lot of people on social media. And I see so many of them. And if they don't want to remove themselves, I'm going to remove them, because they're not going to keep disrupting my videos, my live streams, and they're not going to make other people in the chat feel uncomfortable or on my videos. Yeah. Sometimes it depends on my mood. Sometimes if I'm feeling kind of froggy, I will pin their comment. If they're disrespectful, anybody disrespectful, I pin the comment and I let my Gems family dissect them, take them apart. Like, yeah, you feel the need to put a negative, don't block them. Don't block them. You have to block people for your mental health, and you have to block people for your peace of mind. I know I definitely had to. I had to learn to block people so that I could be happy. And I don't know why it took me a long time. Maybe some of you, it took you a long time for you to know that, I don't have to take it. Okay? When you when you have people that try to disrupt your peace, when you have people who try to say mean or negative or drama things to you, just remove them. Delete, block, hide, whatever you need to do. And also some people in our lives that, we can't eliminate them forever because they may be a relative. And let's talk about this for a little bit. Do you have mean relatives, mean girls, mean guys with your relative? And notice I didn't say family, because family is the people who choose you back. Okay? Family are people who choose you back. Just because somebody is related to you by blood, it doesn't mean they choose you back. That's a whole different level, because you can be related to people by blood, and I have had people who have been a friend that have been more of a family than my own flesh and blood. I've had people that have checked on me, called me, I've had people who have sent me food, gave me money, and my own family would never even check on me. They're looking like, well, I'm not gonna give you nothing. Well, uh, they actually, not only will they not give me anything, they only want me for, you gonna give me some money? Or they're always trying to hold something, always begging for, I call it dry begging for something. That's so old. Exactly, exactly. Fought too hard for my peace. Yes. And that's what people just don't understand. How hard life can be and the things that we actually are going through. And I can't speak for you all, but I know that I have real time issues in my life, trying to survive, take care of my family, take care of me. So you don't need drama in your life. You don't need negativity and meanness. So, you have to leave certain people alone. And I had to learn that I had to leave some relatives alone because sometimes they're not well mentally, or they're angry, they got unresolved issues, but that's not my problem. You need to work on yourself. You need to get a therapist. Some people just need to grow up. Unfortunately, some relatives or some people in our life have been coddled and enabled and never been told no. They always get the things that they want, and they figure that they can talk to people any way they want to, and you have to listen to them and you have to allow it. No, you're not just going to be talking to me any type of way. You're not just going to be lying to me right to my face. You're not just going to be, doing all of these toxic behaviors and habits and feel like I'm just going to accept it, because I'm not. And you shouldn't either. Yes, definitely wellness. Barry. Hi, Barry. How are you doing? Barry says life owes us nothing, sadly. Yes, it doesn't. But we have to be the ones to make sure we make our life great. And that's one of the best things that I got out of life. I got that I was the one that had to make my life amazing. Hi, Jasmine. How are you doing? Welcome to you and everybody who is in here. you know, I had to learn to make my life happy. And unfortunately, there's so many adults that don't know how to make themselves happy. Some people think happiness is wrapped up in material things, in fancy outfits and clothes and shoes and purses and fancy cars and homes. Don't get me wrong. Those things are nice. It's nice to have those things, but possessions do not make you. you know it's who you are as a person. It's having inner peace. It's having people in life that love you unconditionally, and making memories together with people that care about you. And unfortunately, I and maybe many of us have had to deal with people that really don't care about us, that feel that they can talk to you, mistreat you, disrespect you, ghost you, lie to you, do all kinds of stuff, bring physical harm, and that we have to take it, and you don't. Hi, Jason. And you don't. You don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. You don't. You don't have to take it. You don't have to take lies, manipulation, drama, jealousy, negativity, projections. None of that. You know? We have so much power over making choices. And if people make you feel bad, if people make you like being around them makes you feel uncomfortable, upsets you, disturbs your peace, takes away your power, or tries to separate you from your money, they got to go. They got to go. And I know many people, and I care for them, but I had to learn that I had to love myself more than other people. And unfortunately, sometimes until you know yourself and really love yourself and be your own best friend, you stop allowing people to go above you. You know, you're always serving, but are you serving yourself? Are you taking care of yourself first? Your mental health? Are you taking care of your finances? You're taking your care of your business. And it's so easy to happen, taking care of relatives and who you're in a relationship with and this and that. You're taking care of all of these people, but you're not taking care of yourself. It's tragic, but we have choices to make. You know, you have a choice to make every day you wake up. You can make a choice to block. You can make a choice to just don't go around them anymore. And that's something that I had to learn, that I had to make a choice to leave people alone. Okay? I had to make a choice to just stop. Yep. You have to make a choice that I got to leave this person alone. I don't know how many of you have ever been through anything like that. Is some people, you can care about them, but they don't care about themselves. They're not a bad person, but they're stopping you from your happiness, or they're trying to make you feel bad because you're living your life or because of the job you have or your circumstances. Some people want to make you feel bad because you are living your life. And that's sad. Really, really sad. Yes, real friends for life. Yes, you have to be the one to give yourself peace and happiness. You have to be the one, You have to be the one to make that choice. I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to choose my peace of mind. I'm going to choose my joy. I'm going to choose to love myself, even if they don't. And it goes to all of the people in your life. Hi, Zephina. Hey, Boss Life Online. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Yes, thumbs up, everybody. I hope everybody's doing amazing. And I hope that this topic is something that somebody needs to hear. Okay? And because there's a lot of people who are just mean for no reason. You don't honestly have to do anything to anybody. You don't. You don't have to do anything to people. That's their issue, And I used to ask myself, like, what did I ever do to this person for them to treat me this way? What did I ever do for this person to be this dark, manipulative, angry, evil, or starting problems or making up stuff about me? What did I ever do? And I had to understand when I went through therapy that it's not you. Do not take that personal. It's them. They need to work on themselves. They need to grow up. They may be mentally unbalanced, okay? No, it's not nighttime here. Boss Life Online says people need to look inward and change. When people are mean, they got something going on within. Yes. A lot of things going on within, right? A lot of things going on. And that's why I always say, you never know what somebody is going through. Even a person who is nice and kind and sweet, or, we call them the strong people. Do you show love and support to your kind people, to your strong people? Strong people need support too. Strong people need motivation. Strong people need some compassion. Strong people need encouragement. They need to be recognized. They need for people to say, thank you. I appreciate you. Is there something that I can do for you? especially the people who are always serving and supporting and encouraging, we as, recipients of their love and their kindness and their management, they deserve to be, told, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. That's 2 words. Okay? It doesn't take anything. It's free. It's free to show appreciation. Movie shorts, thank you so much. Um, yes, they just don't like themselves. They're scared little bullies. I always say there's a lot of people that are bullies because they still have not worked on their inner child. They have not worked on the little girl or the little boy inside of them, that somebody did something very traumatic to them that broke them. Maybe they saw something, maybe somebody did something that was abusive, or maybe a whole bunch of things. Maybe they were never shown love. There are adults out here, and I know that it sounds crazy. There are adults out here that have never been told that they are loved. They have never been told that they're valued. They've never been told that they are blessed and they're worthy and they're capable. They've never been told any of this. Some people, their whole life, have never been hugged, or a kiss on the cheek, a pat on the back, and that goes a long way. You think that that's nothing, but it's a big deal when you have not been, hugged and loved, and somebody being proud of you. That will do a lot to you. It will really mess you up if you let it, because I could have been one of those persons to be angry and upset about my situation. I could have, and I was for a long time. I definitely was the mad, angry, upset, ticked off person for many years. But that gets so old. I don't know about you all, anybody who's ever been an angry, mean person for any period of time in your life. It gets exhausting. It's tiring to always complain. It's tiring to feel like everybody hates you. Yeah. And I had to really go inside. Why do people not like me? Because of, maybe it's my attitude, the way I treat people, and people are sick of it. People are sick of me. That's accountability. And until I learned to grow up and mature, is before I learned that I was the problem in the situation. Yeah, people are doing things to me, but people treat you the way you treat them. If you are acting up, if you are being rude and nasty, that's the treatment that you're going to get back. I'm not saying all the time, but I'm just speaking from personal experience. That I was getting what I was putting out there. So if you put out negative energy, if you are disrespectful to other people, don't think people are going to give you a smile. Okay? It's just not going to happen. Yes, yes. Boss Life says you have to have courage to work on your inner child issues. This is why they rather choose to hurt others than to face the pain. Yes, because when my therapist told me it's easier to believe the lie than to face the reality. It's easy. See, I don't know about you all, but for many years, I put this narrative in my head of what I thought things happened. But sometimes the things that we think in life, we don't have all the facts. You only saw a few things and you put things together and made your own conclusion. And that is not what it was. It's not what it was. Hey, Realist, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday to you and all of the GEMS family. Hope everybody's doing awesome on this Wednesday. Yeah, it does, Gio. It takes a lot of courage to face your inner child. You know how hard it was for me to look at myself in the mirror and say, I need help. I'm a very angry person. Uh, you know, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. When I went to therapy to fix other people in my life. That shows how much help I actually needed. Because I did. I needed a lot of help. Because I thought I was gonna go to therapy to fix my parents, fix my siblings, and who got fixed? Me, you know? And I'm grateful for that because I needed to get a dose of maturity. I needed to get a dose of stop being controlling, stop being jealous, and stop trying to control the things that I can't control. You cannot control other people. You cannot make people show up. You cannot make people like you. When people show you who they are, believe them and believe them the first time. Maya Angelou said that. Believe them the first time. If people are proving that something's wrong with them mentally, they're proving that to you by what they do, how they talk to you, acting wild, trying to disrupt your peace, doing different type of things, lying to you. That's not a person you need to keep in your life. Why do you keep allowing them to stick around? Because they say nice things, because they tell you they love you. That's not love. That's toxicity. That is toxicity. Yes. Yep. And it's hard to say that, but I'm woman enough. I'm accountable to say I was toxic. I was toxic because I came from a toxic environment. But you can change that. It's not a death sentence. It's not something you say these things happen to me, so it's like I'm always going to be hard. I'm never going to talk about my feelings. No, that's not a good quality. It's not a good quality. I had to learn humility. I had to learn that. Like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be liked. All I have to do is be myself. That's the only thing. Every day I wake up and I just be me and just love me and just be my own friend. Hey, Lara, how are you doing? Welcome. That's all you have to do. Wake up and be yourself. And people who don't like you, they can go. Okay? They can go. You don't have to be here. That applies to social media. I don't know why, but it took me a long time to be able to block certain people on my social media because I honestly, I'm just a nice and kind person. But I had to learn that certain people cannot be in my space because they were distracting my audience, because they were rude, because they were talking. If I said left, they would say right. If I said something was up, they would say down. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So if you find that you're blocked, do some work on yourself. Do some work on yourself. Period. Yes. You got to work on loving yourself, you know? And there's a lot of people on this app that need to work on themselves. And they're always talking about, I'm so tired of people talking about how much they love themselves, but they are a shell of a little boy or a shell of a little girl. They have never hugged that little girl or the little boy inside of themselves. They're projecting their fears, their insecurities, their doubts onto other people. They're an angry person. And I know that they're an angry person because I've been there. I can see it. I recognize it. Because I was like, that was me. You can see yourself in another person when you mature and when you grow up. Okay, Lara, you can look at another person who is negative, angry, manipulative. I don't know. Whoever is saying hi with the purple heart, welcome. Hi, Miss Lynn. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. When you identify your problems, When you identify your personal issues, when you are putting in the work into yourself, listen, when you are putting in the work into yourself, it will be seen. You don't have, it's not showing off, but I worked hard. When I say I worked hard to be the Marlene that I am today. This just didn't happen. I didn't just wake up one day and become positive. I didn't just wake up one day and have confidence. Hi, Emma. How are you? Welcome. That just doesn't happen overnight. I had to learn to trust myself. I had to learn to believe in myself. I had to learn to be consistent. I had to learn that I deserved a good friend, that I didn't have to just settle for crumbs, that I didn't have to deal with angry people that used me and only showed up when they wanted something with their hand out. I was like, that's not a friend. That's not love. I don't want that around me. Just because a person may be giving you a few dollars, just because a person knows you or knows who you were, that doesn't mean that's who you are today. That doesn't mean that's who you are today. See, people will look at you and judge you based on your past and who you were. And I can say for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I know I've changed. I know I've healed. I know I've matured. And if you want to say I am who I was formerly, then you don't know me. Period. And I mean that, and I put that on everything. You know your transformation. You know your healing. Don't let anybody take you backwards. There's certain people where I think when they come in my live streams or on my videos, I feel sad because I know what it was like to be that person who was the intention seeker. I know what it was like to be the person who was the procrastinator, the person who had no self-esteem, the person who had some mental health issues because I didn't know how to say no. Stop it. I don't like that. Why are you treating me that way? Now I know how to speak up. And now I know how to, even respectfully. I don't have to cuss people out. I don't have to what is it called? I don't have to explain why I am a bright light. I'm a bright light because I worked to be bright, because I allowed myself to be removed from the darkness. Hey, message. I allowed myself to be removed from the darkness. And a lot of people who are mean, they do not allow themselves to be removed from the darkness. It's a choice. And I had to learn to choose me. I had to learn that thing. I had to learn that I was enough. I had to learn that thing. You know how hard it is when you grow up and you felt that nobody ever cared for you? You felt that nobody ever loved you? You feel like, why am I even here? I have zero purpose. And I'm here to tell you all, even if other people in your life feel that there is no purpose in you, it doesn't mean that that's true. They may feel that they don't have a purpose, but that doesn't mean you don't have a purpose. I feel like I'm talking to somebody who needs to hear this. I came from that darkness, depression, eating disorder, dysfunctional family. I came from all of that and I rose above it. I rose above it like a phoenix. I rose above all of the drama, the negativity, the doubt, the fear, feelings of worthlessness, hating myself, like thinking nobody liked me, jealous of me. But I had to work on that. I had to work on me. And until I learned to love me, all I was going to ever do is keep drawing negative people. All I was going to do is keep choosing people who are mad. Because listen, when you're mad, you choose to have mad friends. You choose to have mad relationships. You choose everything until you fix yourself, until you are introduced to confidence, until you start doing right. Right is not going to come to you. No matter what people say, until you do right, until you learn to treat yourself right, until you heal your inner child, until you discover your personal worth, until you start walking the path that you're meant to walk and say, this is my lane and I'm going to stay in it. And what's going on over there, and behind me is none of my business. And it's not. What somebody thinks about you is none of your business. If somebody does not like you, that's none of your business. People who, you know, have things to say, issues, complaining, you change, they can't use you, none of your business. Okay. I had to stop wondering, why don't they support me? Why don't they come to my lives? Why don't they call me? Why don't they check on me? Why don't they love me? Because they don't love themselves. People cannot love you until they love themselves. Woo! That's that's a heavy thing to carry. It's a heavy responsibility to know that even when other people don't do right, even when other people don't like you, don't trust you, don't whatever, don't like, your gifts. And that's a whole reason why some people will actually literally hate you because you have gifts. People will literally hate you because you have peace. People will hate you because you're living your life. But that's not your problem. Do not let these mean people stop you from living your life. Do not let these negative people stop you from your joy. See, I had to learn that joy was mine. I had to learn that everything in my life that was meant to be for me could not be stopped. There's nobody that could stop me from my purpose in my life but me. And that's a very powerful thing, that you have to understand that no matter what somebody has to say, no matter what somebody else's opinion of you is, you are the one that has to make a choice if you're going to allow their thoughts, their opinions to stop you from having joy and peace. You are the one that has to make that decision. You are the one that has to make the choice to love yourself. You're the one that has to choose to get up and to keep fighting and to not give up and to live your life and to go for your dreams and your goals. If you hit roadblocks in your life by mean people, and I will tell you that I spent so many years in my life having people that I would do things for, and they wouldn't even do one little thing for you. You would bend over backwards. There's even people you would die for, and they wouldn't do nothing for you. I had to learn that. Stop making myself available. Stop showing up. Stop supporting people who don't support me. People who don't support you. People who are mean to you, rude to you, and you keep allowing it. Why? Why do you keep allowing them to be around and to be in your life? That is something for some reflection, some introspection. Like, is it because you feel like you have no choice? Do you feel like you have no option? And you do. We always have options. You do. You have options, and there's always going to be choices that you have to make, but you got to learn to choose yourself. And you cannot let other people being upset and angry make you upset and angry. I know it's hard because people say things that you just want to, bam, just want to get back at them, get some revenge. But don't lower yourself to their level so you can make yourself unhappy. You know, you're going to be unhappy because you're lowering yourself down to their level. Don't lower, don't look down, look up, rise up, have different thoughts and opinions. And, one thing that my father used to always say, the best thing that you can ever do, the best way that you can get revenge on people who hate you, can't stand you, don't like you, are miserable, is to be more successful. Show people more peace. Show people that them not being in your life did not stop you. Okay? And some people will think that, oh, if they're not in your life, if they're not supporting you, like your life is going to end. Hey Kristen, how are you doing? Your life doesn't end. Your life doesn't stop just because they're mean, they're nasty. Your life doesn't end when you're not in a romantic relationship with them. Your life doesn't end because you're no longer their friend or you have that job or whatever. Your life continues on, but the amount of joy you have in your life, the amount of peace you have in your life depends on you. And I know dealing with people who are whole bullies on social media, whole bullies in your relatives, whole bullies with quote unquote friends. There's bullies everywhere and they will never stop. They'll never stop. Some people will never stop because you're giving them power. And that's why I always say no response is the best response. When people can't know what you're thinking, they can't go back and forth with you because they're angry. They want someone to argue with. Mm-mm. There's no time for anything in life but peace. Life is too short to spend even one moment angry. Don't give them that power over you. Release them and let them go. And I know that it's hard because I've had to do that more than one time. I've had to release friend and relative and job and this person and people on social media because they are bringing me down, because they are giving me some mental health issues, because they're controlling, manipulative. They're trying to take my joy away. And that is not acceptable. Okay? And that's what I want you to say. The next time somebody does something to you and they're mean, rude, controlling, drama, say, I don't have to take it. You don't have to explain why it is. Block them. Remove yourself from that. You know, no response. Don't even respond to them. They're not worth it. There are some times where you do have to speak up and tell people how you feel. But other times, especially if it's somebody they don't know you, it's like, you don't know me. People will think that they know you. They will think that they know what you're going through. They have no idea. And the thing about it is they don't care. That is the worst part. People will be out here saying things about you, talking about you, and they don't care. They don't care how it makes you feel. They don't care how it especially when it's somebody that you really care about. I don't know about you all, but have you ever had somebody in your life and they have literally backstabbed you and you love them so much and they do something so hateful, so manipulative, so heinous, so disruptive, so evil? Have you ever had people like that in your life that will and they don't stop? So who has to stop it? Me? You? You're the one that's in control of it. You're the one that has to say when enough is enough. Hi Tracy, how are you doing? You're the one that has to say when you've had enough. You're the one. You're the one that has to rise above all of it. You're the one that has to say, I have control in my life. You have to be the one to say, I have peace. You're the one that has to say, I have joy. You, me. And first, I think it's so important for you to say, when somebody says something or does something to you, it's so important for you to have that conversation with yourself and to say, I am enough. And to say, I don't have to take this. Hi, truth. I don't have to take it. I am enough. You don't have to take foolishness. You don't have to take drama. And you don't have to listen to the hateful and the mean things that people have to say. Okay? And that's something that is really important. Do not let people stop you from your dreams. Do not let people stop you from your goals. Do not let people stop you from your joy. And I can say for me, a long time, I was being so upset, can't even sleep because there's no peace and your mind is racing and you're thinking, how could they do this to me? How can they be so mean? How can they be so evil? How can they be so rude? You know? How? But it's not for us to fix them. The only thing you need to do is just be yourself. Is just keep on possessing joy. Okay? So, the question was asked from the beginning, why are people so mean? Why? Because they hate themselves. Because they probably experienced some traumas in their childhood, or somebody traumatized them. Somebody abandoned them. Somebody backstabbed them. And instead of working on their issues and their problems, instead of people working on their issues and their problems, they rather project it, because it's easier to ignore a problem than to face it. It's easier to ignore it. And I know, because I've been there. When you need to work on something. When you're upset. When your mental health is affected. When you're just going through some things. So pause. Work on yourself, Gems family. It's okay. If you need a break, if you need a personal break, take one. Hi, Mark. How are you doing? If you need a break, take one. If you need a break from people, take one. I've said this many times before. I will block people that are making me feel some type of way. You don't even have to really do anything, but you did something that really offended me, and I need a break from you before I'll go off. Okay? Before you go off, take a break. Before you do something that you will regret, Yeah. Because sometimes you will say something that you will regret. So, sometimes just being upset and angry, and it's happened so many times. I know you guys watch shows like Snapped or 48 Hours. People didn't really set out to do those things, but it's in the moment. They were upset, they were angry, and they did not resolve their issues with that person. They let that anger grow, the jealousy grow, all of the and I'm gonna get back at them, and they did this and they do, and then next thing, this dramatic thing happened, and now you have to suffer for the rest of your life because you didn't work on yourself and forgive whoever hurt you. You think that's an easy thing? You think it's an easy thing to forgive people who hurt you? It's not. And it's like people will have a whole attitude. Well, I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't fix the amount of pain that they bring into your life. The time where, like, you needed their support, you needed their love, and they didn't give it, and they just ghosted you, put you on a shelf, talked about you behind your back like a dog, left you to swim in the deep end by yourself, or they did something to somebody that you love and it really hurt you a lot, and they just say they're sorry, and they think like, well, I said I was sorry. What else do you want from me? So you have to understand that when you forgive people, you can forgive people and also let them go. I forgive you and I release you. And then there's other people you forgive, but you can keep them at a distance. There's two ways you can do with forgiveness. And I didn't know that you can forgive people and let them go. You also can forgive people and keep them at a distance, because when you love yourself, you do not allow people to keep hurting you over and over and over again. Because you show people, oh, I can do anything I want to them. I can talk to them any way I want to, and they'll just keep taking it. They'll just keep forgiving it. They'll keep allowing it. Mm-mm. Remember, you're the one that is in control of how you allow people to treat you. We train people, either good or bad. Good or bad, we train people how we are going to allow ourselves to be treated. So if somebody is doing something rude to you, nasty, manipulative, and you keep allowing it, you need to ask yourself that question. Why do I allow this person to be in my life? Why do I allow this person to keep bringing me pain? And why haven't I cut them off? No, there's two things when it comes to romantic relationships after they end. First, you have to ask yourself, why did I choose this person? Because there was something in you that why you chose them is because you were lonely, gullible, vulnerable, easy prey. You got to be honest with yourself. Same thing with friendships. Why did I allow this person? Why did I allow this person to do X, Y, and Z to me? And why did I allow it? Why didn't I cut it off sooner? Okay? Why didn't I speak up for myself? These are all very important questions that we need to be asking ourselves on a regular basis. Go through your phone. Who is in my phone? Are all the people in my phone people who pour into me, support me, encourage me, motivate me, inspire me? If the answer is no, remove them. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a relative. I don't care. If a person is not pouring into you, loving you, supporting you in any way for your well-being, they don't deserve to be there. And there's some of them that you need to block in your own phone. But that's another live stream. But yeah. Yeah, so let's see. Yes. Hey, Chill Will crew, appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. So I just want to say to anybody who needed to hear this today, if you're going through some issues and some problems from a friend, from your relative, from your romantic person, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it's social media, you're dealing with bullies, you're dealing with negativity, you're dealing with drama, just mean people, even in your day-to-day interactions, know that It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Sometimes it could be that there's things that you need to work on. You may need to work on speaking up for yourself. You may need to work on stop telling people your business. You may need to work on doing so many things. Okay? Thank you, Lara. I appreciate you. So I just wanted to say that to everybody. Do not let mean people make you feel that you're less than. Before I wrap up, I wanted to say this. People are mean because they are externalizing their internal pain, and it helps them to suppress their heavy emotions temporarily. And it's just because you're right there in front of them. So you're going to get the heat, you're going to get the smoke. But it doesn't mean you have to take it. Doesn't mean you have to be a doormat. It doesn't mean you have to be controlled. It doesn't mean you have to give them money, your time. It doesn't mean you have to keep subscribe to them. It doesn't mean you have to allow them. Block people for your mental health. Block people for your peace. Stop telling people your business. Stop giving them power over you, and stop believing everything that people have to say about you. People have their right if they don't like you. Okay, you don't like me, then move along. Okay, you don't like me, you don't have to be here. You can go. There's the door. Speak up for yourself. Advocate for yourself. And most definitely love yourself. Okay? Spread that all around. I want that to be a message that goes viral. We all could use more love. Love yourself and love the people who love you back. Stop wasting your energy and your time on people who don't love you, and they're proving it by their actions. They're always making an excuse why they can't show up, why they can't support, why they can't do this, and why they can't do that. If they wanted to do it, they would. Obviously, they don't want to. Obviously, they don't care. Obviously, you're not important to them. Obviously. It's obvious to them, but is it obvious to you? Remember, you're the one that has to make a choice to love yourself. Okay? You got to make the choice. You know your worth. Know you are a bright light. Know that you can get through anything. Don't let what other people have to say, do not let what other people have to say be what you think about yourself. People say all kind of crazy stuff. Don't listen to it. Don't take it in. Don't digest it and start going back and forth and wondering, oh, what have I done? And how come they don't? No. Know your own self. Love thyself. Okay? Know you're enough. Know you are enough. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Life with Marlene, your Florida vlogger for motivation, lifestyle, and much more. Thank you so much for your support. If you're new here, hit the like, subscribe. If you're watching on the replay, leave me a comment, gems. What did you like about this commentary today? And how do you deal with mean people? I shout out to all of my mods. If you see someone in blue, go by. Check out their contents, okay? And I got a lot of mods in here today. The Jamaitans, Wellness with Frugal Mama, Boss Life Online, Miss Lynn's Life Lessons, Realist One here. Let's see, Chill Will Crew. Got a lot of mods in here today. Loving Me, Tracy Anderson, Bella Whispers Farmstead, Kristen, and I said Boss Life Online, I said Lynn's Life Lessons. And also shout out to all of my channel members. Leticia's Third Eye Point of View, Miss Nexie, Sonia, Sirius S. A Virgo from Georgia, Boss Life Online, Puzzle Pieces. Yeah, I hope I'm not missing it. Oh, Dave's Adventures. I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. Be positive. Love yourself. Like I say over here on Life with Marlene, love yourself and love your life. Love your life, live your life, and be your best. Love you too, Gio. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. I'm going to put the links to all of my mods in the description box. So if you are new here and you weren't able to click any of the moderators in here, come back in a little bit and then you'll be able to go by and check out all my amazing content creators. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next one.